Okay. So in this session, we'll take the concepts related to the module 3 bit A, that is single phase transformers ahead. Okay. Module 3 bit A, single phase transformers. Single phase transformers. Okay. So in the yesterday's session, we just discussed about what is the basic definition of the term transformers. So wherein we were able to state that transformer, it is a static device wherein it transfers the electrical power from one electrical circuit to the other electrical circuit without change in any frequency and with or without change in the voltage level, right? Then next, now we'll discuss about, and also along with this we have interacted on how we are able to classify these transformers. So transformers, they are basically classified first depending upon how their arrangement between core and winding is there. So depending upon the arrangement of core and winding, we can classify it as a shell type and a core type. Then next, depending upon the transformation ratio, we can classify our transformers as step up, step down, and isolation transformers. So if at all, if the voltage on the secondary side is greater than that of primary, then we call it as step up. If the voltage on the secondary side is less than that of primary, we call it as step down. And if the voltage of both primary and secondary, if both are same, then we say that it is an isolation transformer. Okay. Then, as we have said that this transformer, it is a static device. So losses in this particular electrical machine is less. So therefore, you will find that the efficiency of this particular transformer will be in the band of 95% to 98%. Okay, the efficiency of this electrical machine will be in the band of 95% to 98%. Okay, and because of this component, a primary component of the power system transformer, because of this component, it has made us to be more flexible and feasible towards a AC transmission system. So as you know that we are generating the electrical power which is alternating in nature. We transmit the AC power, we distribute the AC power, and we consume the AC power. So, in order to make this complete generation to consumer line something AC in nature, okay, in order to make this generation point to the consumer point something AC in nature, so I do feel because of this one component transformer, we are able to achieve it. Now, simply if you think if transformer would have not been there, then in that case, whatever you are generating, you are unable to step up, step down at different levels. Same electrical voltage has to be transmitted. It would have been a real great challenge if at all transformers would not have been there. So transformers, they are the key component. So hence they are called as primary component of the power system, which allows the electrical power to be transmitted from a generating point to the consumer point. Clear? Fine. So now in this session, we'll start discussing about construction of transformer. We'll start discussing construction of transformer. Construction of transformer. So in order to understand about the construction of transformer, I can also say this concept as parts of transformer. Parts of transformer. So here we are going to deal with what are all the parts of the transformer and how this particular transformer is being constructed. So first I'll say you what are all the parts of the transformer. The parts of the transformer are, first one, it is core. Okay, then second one it is windings. Second one it is the windings. Core is made up of magnetic material. Core is made up of magnetic material, and windings, it is made up of copper. Windings is made up of the copper. Okay. Now let me show you how we are going to show this transformer, not in a symbolic form, but if at all we want to show in terms of its structure form, how we can show it. So in order to show it, so I can just show like this, wherein its front view, I can develop it like this, like a square box. Okay. So this is, I can say it's a front view. Okay. Then I can say that, so these are the limbs. So this is the first limb. So I can say that this is limb 1 and this is your limb 2. So on this limb, we are going to wound the windings. We are going to wound the windings. And this element that you are observing, like a square plate, so this is made up of a silicon steel, which is called as core. Okay, core. It is made up of silicon steel. It is made up of silicon steel. Okay. Then next is, in order to show these windings, we say that these windings are wound on the core. So this is a primary winding, and one more winding is wound on the second limb. This is called as a secondary winding. So this is called primary winding, and this is called a secondary winding. Now, how to define this term primary winding? A winding which is being connected to the source or supply voltage, it is said to be as primary winding. A winding which is being connected to the load, winding which is being connected to a load, it is said to be as secondary winding. Okay. Now, when I apply the primary voltage on the primary winding, or when I apply the source voltage on the primary winding, what happens? A primary current is going to flow through this winding. So when this current flows through this winding, at that time what it does, when this current flows through this winding, at that time it produces a flux. It produces a flux. So this flux, first it links with its own coil. It links with its own coil and hence produces an EMF called as self-induced EMF. And when this flux links from primary winding to secondary winding via the core, so this is the path in which your magnetic flux is going to move. So this is your flux phi. So this is the magnetic path in which the flux is going to move. So when this flux produced by the primary, when it links with the secondary winding, so at that time it induces one more EMF. So this EMF is called as mutually induced EMF. Mutually induced EMF. And the voltage, what is being seen across a load, it is called as V2, called as terminal voltage or load voltage. So V2 is called as terminal voltage or load voltage. And the current that flows through this secondary winding is said to be a secondary current, IS. Okay, so you should be familiar with these terms now. You have to be familiar with these terms. Okay, now what you have to understand over here is V is what? It's a supply voltage or source voltage. So you can call this V as VS, source voltage, or primary voltage, or V1, the applied voltage. IP is nothing but your primary current. Sometimes we also call it as I1. Sometimes we also call it as I1. What is E1? E1 is nothing but self-induced EMF. Why it is called self-induced? Because it is an EMF which is being produced because of flux linkage of its own coil. So since IP, a primary current, when it flows this winding, it produces a flux. Yes or no? So when this flux linkage changes, the EMF induced across this coil is also going to change. So therefore, here it produces an EMF which is called as a self-induced EMF. What about E2? E2 is an mutually induced EMF. E2 is an mutually induced EMF. Why it is called mutually induced EMF? Because here EMF is produced because of flux linkage from the primary coil. So as we said, the primary winding, whatever the flux it is going to produce, it is going to link to secondary via this magnetic path. Via this magnetic path. So since the flux of primary is linking to the secondary and hence producing this EMF, so this EMF is said to be as an mutually induced EMF. What about the term V2? V2 it indicates lower voltage or terminal voltage. It is also called as secondary voltage. Is also called as secondary voltage. What about this current? It is called as secondary current or load current, or you can also say it as I2. So these are all the alias name. So whenever you refer one or the other textbook, so at that time they may not say that this is a terminal voltage. They may say it as a load voltage. V2 as a load voltage. So should not get confused. The meaning of all the terms are one and the same. Okay, is it clear to you? So when it comes to the topic construction of a transformer, you need to remember that. So in case of a transformer, it is having only two basic parts. One is core, one more it is winding. Core is made up of magnetic material, windings it is made up of the copper. So this is a core, a square portion what you are observing, this is a core. These are your windings. So it is having two windings. One is primary winding, one more it is secondary winding. So primary winding is a winding which is connected to the source. Secondary winding is a winding which is connected to the load. So when voltage is applied, current flows the primary winding. When current flows the primary winding, it produces a flux. So that flux it links to the primary winding itself first. So therefore it produces EMF. So once the induced EMF even is produced, then what happens? This flux from the first coil it links with the secondary coil. So at that time it produces one more flux called as mutually induced. Sorry, it produces one more EMF called as a mutually induced EMF. Okay, is it clear to you? Then this core is made up of what? Core is made up of magnetic material. To be specifically, it is made up of silicon steel, which is of high relative permeability and low hysteresis. Okay, low hysteresis curve. Then next is this windings. They are made up of the copper. Okay. Normally, what happens is, so since I want less reluctance, since I want less hysteresis loss, so instead of making this core of one particular element, what we'll be doing is, assume that if at all if I'm having this this as my core, so this I'm going to chop it into several halves. Later again I'm going to stagger it. So let me say I'll be having in my next session I will show you actual laminations. Okay, normally your core is made up of several laminations of E, I, P, like that. Okay, so laminations of they'll be using in order to make this as a square or rectangle like this. What they'll be doing is they'll be using two L's. So this is one L, okay, and this is one more L. One more L. Using these two L's, they'll make this square or rectangle. Understanding? So your core is made up of laminations of some alphabets such as E, L, T, I. Okay, so normally the laminations such as E like this and I like this as a plate. It is being used in order to make the lamination wherein here winding can be done in order to build the shell type of transformer. Okay, In my tomorrow's class, I will show you the actual laminations for E, L, T, and I. Okay, so that will come to that when I join those elements, it forms the core. Understanding? So normally you may ask, sir, why this particular transformer is constructed such that, however, again when I want to join it, then why you have to break it? One thing you have to understand that your hysteresis loss, whatever is there, it is dependent upon the thickness of the element. I hope you are able to understand it. Let me say that now if this is the thickness of your element, if this is indicating that if this thickness of the paper is indicating the thickness of your element, so what I'm going to do is this element I'm going to chop it in several hulls. So whatever you're observing over here, no, so these are your several hulls. So later what I'm going to do, I'm going to stagger it, I'm going to join it. I want to make it as one element. So when I want to make it as a one element, so at that time individual thickness is very less. When I see as a whole, thickness is more. When I see as each individual paper, thickness is less or thickness is very less. So since thickness is less over here, so at that time your hysteresis loss will also be less. So in order to reduce the hysteresis loss, so we build such laminations. We build such laminations. Okay. Now, so after discussing the fundamental definition and the construction of transformer, now we'll go to the next concept called as working principle of transformer. Working principle, working principle of transformer. Okay, so in order to make you people to understand the working principle, once again I will draw the same diagram. Here I will use symbolic diagram. This is a primary winding. This is mutual coupling between the two windings, which indicates a magnetic coupling. Okay, so this is my transformer. So since this winding will be excited by an AC source, okay, so this winding is said to be as a primary winding. So let me say this is a voltage V1, okay, and this winding I'm going to connect it across a load. Okay, let me not say what kind of a load it is. So this load can be anything. It's a black box to me now. Okay, it is just going to offer some resistance and draw some current out of your secondary winding. Okay, now here you understand how your transformer is going to operate. Once again, I'm going to interact with you people. So first, what happens? You are having some source voltage or applied voltage. So when this voltage is applied to this primary winding, circuit is closed. When circuit is closed, what happens? Current starts flowing in the circuit. Current starts flowing in a circuit. So I'll call this current as current I1. So when this current I1 flows through this coil, what it does? It produces the flux. It produces the flux. So this flux, what it does? It links with the own coil. It is linking with the own coil. The direction of flux is equal to the direction in which the current is flowing. So when this flux, it cuts this conductor. When this flux, when it cuts the coil or this conductor, so at that time it produces an EMF, which is called as a self-induced EMF. Further, part of the flux from the primary winding, it is going to link the secondary winding. Part of the flux from primary winding, it is going to link the secondary winding. So this flux is called as a working flux. This flux is called as a working flux. So when this flux, it cuts this coil, secondary coil, when the working flux, when it cuts the secondary coil, it produces one more EMF. So that EMF is called as mutually induced EMF. Okay, it's called as mutually induced EMF. Now, when the secondary side is being connected to a load, again secondary loop is also closed. Since secondary loop is also closed, I'll be having a secondary current in my circuit. Now assume if load would not have been there, it's an open circuit. Since it's an open circuit, my I2 would have been 0. My I2 would have been 0. A simple equation which I can use it, your Ohm's law. V is equals to I into R. I want to apply it to the circuit. I want to know what is the magnitude of the current. I will be equal to V by R. When I make it open, it means what? Whether the resistance will be 0 or resistance will be infinite. Yes, please answer me in a group chat. Assume that there is no load at these terminals. If I am going to remove this load, no load is there. It is open. This element itself is not there now. Then what will be the value of resistance across the load? Whether it is 0 or it is infinite. Yes, my dear students. Answer me in the group chat. Yes, whether the resistance will be 0 or infinite. You have to be confident. Right or wrong? You have to answer it. Yes, please answer. Your resistance will be infinite because it's an open circuit. Since it is an open circuit, resistance is infinite. So when resistance is infinite, what happens? V divided by infinity. So infinity in the denominator, value of I will be equal to 0. So this is what we say. Saying that when this load is not there, so resistance offered is infinite. So when resistance is infinite, so at that time, no current flows in the circuit. Understanding? Okay. So now, once if you have understood this operation, now we are going to derive an equation, okay, which allows us to understand how this transformer is going to operate or transformer is going to work. Now, we said that E1 is a self-induced EMF and E2 is a mutual induced EMF. Now I want to have an equation for what is the magnitude of E1, what is the magnitude of E2. Now let me say that E1, which is self-induced EMF, the magnitude of this is being given by E1 is equals to minus N1 d phi by dt. So this is as per your Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. So as your transformer basically operates on the principle of mutual induction, okay, since your transformer operates on the principle of mutual induction, so we are going to use the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. The EMF induced across a coil, nothing but the primary winding, is being given by minus N1, where N1 is number of turns on the primary, into d phi by dt is nothing but what? Rate of change of flux. Rate of change of flux linkage with the coil. Similarly, what is E2? I can say that E2, similarly, E2 can be defined as minus N2, nothing but number of turns on the secondary, into d phi by dt. So if you observe your equation 1 and equation 2, what is that we are talking? I did not say phi 1, I did not say phi 2, I said phi. Why? Because phi is my working flux. It's a flux which is linking both primary and secondary. Okay. Now, once if I get an equation for E1, once if I get an equation for E2, I'm simply going to say that I want to know what's the ratio of E2 by E1. I want to know what's the ratio of E2 by E1. But E2 is being given by minus N2 into d phi by dt divided by minus N1 into d phi by dt. So d phi by dt get cancelled, minus minus get cancelled, giving out E2 by E1 is equals to N2 by N1. Let me call this as expression number 3. Okay, E2 by E1 is equals to N2 by N1. Then, now I want, as I know that in case of this transformer, So even in yesterday's session we have discussed that it may increase the voltage, it may decrease the voltage. Proportionately, there may be some changes in the value of current, but the power on primary side and power on secondary side, it will remain same. I can simply write as, or I can simply state the equation that power on primary P1 should be equal to the power on secondary. Power on primary should be equal to the power on secondary. Now, assuming the power factor on both the side of the circuit to be unity, I can write P1 as E1 into I1, which is equal to E2 into I2. What is E1 into I1? E1 into I1 is power input to the primary winding, the input to this winding. So input to this winding is being given by E1 voltage across the winding into the value of current which is going to flow through the winding. So this is said to be as power input to the primary winding. So this should be equal to power output from the secondary. Power output from the secondary winding. So it is being given by E2 into I2. E1 I1 is equals to E2 into I2. So now I want to write this equation for what if at all if I take a ratio of E2 by E1. E2 divided by E1. So in that case, this equation turns out as I1 divided by I2. Now let me call this as expression number 4. Now using this equation 3, which is being defined as E2 by E1 is equals to N2 by N1, and equation 4, E2 by E1 is equals to I1 by I2, I can simply say that using equation 3 and 4, I can simply say that my E2 by E1 is equals to, yes, N2 by N1 is equals to I1 by I2. So this is equal to a ratio where K is said to be as a transformation ratio. Where K is said to be as a transformation ratio. K is said to be as a transformation ratio. So this is a ratio. So you need to understand that. So voltage, this is E2 is nothing but the secondary induced EMF. E1 is nothing but primary induced EMF. Okay. N2 is number of turns on secondary. N1 is number of turns on primary. I1 is primary current. I2 is secondary current, and K is called as a transformation ratio. So this says that by what factor by what factor primary voltage has got transferred to secondary. By what factor primary current has got transferred to secondary current. It may be scaled to high level, it may be scaled to the low level. So you can see here your value of I is inverse as that of voltage. So you can see it is E2 by E1, but your current is I1 by I2. So your current ratios are inverse of that of your voltage. Understanding? Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll go to the last concept, that is EMF equation of a transformer. Okay. So prior to start with the EMF equation of a transformer, I would like to know that whether you people are able to understand this topic or not. Yes, please answer me in a group chat whether they are able to understand whatever they are interacting. Yes, please reply me as yes sir in the group chat. So attendance will be given only if there is some reply in the group chat. Okay, because that attendance itself or this reply itself will be the proof of your presence. Okay, so when any questions or query has been asked, you people have to compulsorily answer in the group chat. Okay, fine. Then now we'll go for the next concept, EMF equation of transformer. It's a very important from your examination perspective. It is one of the famous questions which will be asked in any of your V2 examinations. Okay, EMF equation of transformer. EMF equation of transformer. Okay, now, so as we know that, let me again draw the similar circuit as such that people can understand my wordings. This is my primary winding, mutual coupling. This is a secondary winding. Okay, so primary winding is excited by a source voltage V1, and I'll be having my load. Okay, then because of this primary voltage, primary current will be there. Primary current flows to the primary winding. It produces a flux which links with the primary itself. Hence, phi1 is produced. Hence, I'll be getting E1. Part of this flux links with the secondary coil. So this flux is called as working flux. So it produces an EMF called as E2. Circuit is closed on secondary. Hence, you'll be getting I2. Hence, you'll be getting V2, which is nothing but your load voltage or the secondary voltage. Okay. So now this concept should be something perfect to you in your mind. Okay. Now, what is that you people need to understand over here is what I'll do is at this moment